Hey y'all, hey, I'm your girl Miss Nico, and you are now tuned into the first episode of Your Mama Can't Cook. Cause did she show you how to make these buttermilk pancakes? Oh why? Ingredients we need are vanilla, salt, baking soda, butter, all-purpose flour, eggs, baking powder, sugar, and of course some buttermilk. And if you don't have none, I'll give you a little tip on how to make some. Pecans are optional. You can use whatever topping you want, or if you just want to leave them plain, I promise you these pancakes are going to hit. Now, to start, I'm adding 4 cups of flour to the bowl because I am the head of a family full of greedy bobetes. But if you are not and you are just cooking for yourself, either way, you can start with 2 cups of flour and just have everything that I do in this recipe, okay? Now, to my 4 cups of flour, I'm adding 2 teaspoons of baking soda. If you are using half this recipe, you're going to use 1 teaspoon. And I am now adding 3 teaspoons of baking powder to my mixture. If you're having the recipe, you're going to use 1.5 teaspoons. Y'all, I'm not going to keep doing the math. Just look at the screen, okay? Look at your man. I'm adding 2 teaspoons of salt to my mixture. And then when it comes to the sugar, y'all, I didn't measure. I just shook it until I heard a voice go, Big Mama, your arm. And then I stopped. So that's basically it, y'all. And it's coconut sugar, so it's not that sweet. I don't want to hear none of y'all go, There's too much sugar. Use less. Okay, it's up to you. My kids can eat my pancakes without syrup, and it's just sweet enough. All right. The tip here for y'all, mix your wet and dry ingredients separately whenever you are cooking anything, y'all. I promise you, you can put them all in the same bowl if you want, but it'll come together real nice if you mix your ingredients separately and then together. Starting on my wet ingredients, I'm going to go ahead and melt a stick of butter. That's 8 tablespoons. If you're having the recipe, you're going to use a half a stick or 4 tablespoons. Now, my butter was already room temperature, so I stuck it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. If you're oh, y'all see that time said 440, that's letting y'all know you in the right place. That's the angel number, baby. That's your sign. Pancake's going to be heavenly. If you're using refrigerated butter, you're going to put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, stir it, and then 30 more seconds, and then stir it again to get it all together. I use a tablespoon of vanilla in this butter, and you do not have to pour it directly into the butter. I just did that because it's already liquidy, so I figured, why not just coagulate them together. It doesn't coagulate. I just want to use that word to sound smart. I'm adding 4 eggs. Of course, if you're using half the recipe, you're only going to use 2. And this particular step right here, y'all don't have to do this. This is just what I do. But y'all know sometimes eggs be having like a little umbilical cord in there. Let me show you what I'm talking about, because yeah, y'all like the umbilical cord. Yeah, that right there. I don't want that. I take that out of my eggs. We don't eat that in my house. Now, y'all, I know it's not called the umbilical cord. I had to Google it. It's called the Caleza. I don't want to hear none of y'all say, "Ooh, that's a pretty name. I'm gonna name my baby that." Don't. Okay, them your kids. You do what you want to do, but if they don't like you when they grow up, just know this is probably the reason why. Anyway, you're gonna do the same thing with all the eggs. Just put them all in 1 cup, and then you're going to lightly beat your eggs. Okay, when you're adding eggs to any mixture, if it's more than one, you want to lightly beat them. That's another tip for y'all. Okay, it looked like I'm whipping the hell out of them. I promise you, I'm not. It's just the video sped up. To my flour mixture, I'm adding 4 cups of buttermilk to start. I typically use 5, but I start with 4 because I like to see how the mixture comes together. There is a certain consistency that I'm looking for, okay? As far as the buttermilk goes, if you do not have any buttermilk on hand, you can take some whole milk or almond milk, for instance. And for every 1 cup you need, you're going to add a tablespoon of either vinegar or lemon juice and then let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now I'm adding my egg mixture, and I am scraping the white off this cup because eggs expensive, baby. They expensive. And if you don't know that, you don't need to be going to the grocery store because apparently you just buying shit all willy nilly. Either that or you're rich. All right. Anyway, now I'm gonna add my vanilla butter mixture, and once again, it looks like I'm scraping the hell out of that cup. And baby, I am. I am, because butter is delicious, and when you add that vanilla, it just gets delicious. So another tip for y'all, when you're mixing your wet and dry ingredients together, you're going to want to fold them first into your mixture, because if you just get to spinning that spoon around or your fork, whatever you're using, it's just going to make that liquid fly everywhere. And you do not want to waste no butter. I promise you. You just want to stir it together enough before you add in that additional cup. Now, if you're using half the recipe, you're just going to start with a half a cup instead of a whole cup. But I'm going to take that whole cup and pour half of that into my batter and just mix it together. That way I can gauge about how much more milk I will need. I know about how much I need. That's why I poured a whole cup. So I'm looking for a certain consistency. Y'all see it's got a couple little lumps in there and it's not as runny as I like. So I go ahead and I add that last little half cup to my mixture and just get to stirring. That right there, that's what you want. It should not be too liquidy or runny. That means you did too much, baby. So start off slow. Now, throw some water on your pan. That's another tip for you. When you see that sizzle and the steam, that's when you know they're ready. Don't just rely only on the sizzle. You feel me? Another tip for y'all, if you do not have a bowl with a spout or a lip on it, please get you one, because I promise you it'll be so much easier for you to pour them pancakes without a mess. Get you one. Now, I know some of y'all probably like, how do you know when to flip the pancakes? You're going to look for those bubbles that start to pop on the top, and then from that midpoint down, it's going to look more matte than shiny. That's when you know it's time to what? You about to flip that, huh? Yeah, exactly. And see how they look on the bottom? That's how they look when they're ready to come up off that pan and come up on your plate. Yes, hallelujah. Shout out to this nonstick pan I got going on. And this is basically what I did over and over and over and over and over again, because as I told you, we skinny fat asses in my house and we like to eat a lot. I'm making like 1,000 pancakes. Do I start off with at least 4 pancakes? Yes. Did I say at least? Because yes, that's where I start. 4 pancakes. Okay. Mind your business. Y'all see that right there? If you pour your pancakes and they touch, just wait until it's almost time to flip and then kind of cut them with your spatula. Let me just give y'all a little quick little bonus thing. Don't worry about all the pancakes looking perfectly round or perfectly brown or perfectly golden, whatever color you want your pancakes to be, okay? It's not so much about how the pancakes look as it is about how they taste. I promise you. I'm telling you from experience. I done had some amazing looking terrible pancakes. Okay, you don't want that. Now, when it comes to adding your toppings, you can do it 2 ways. Here I'm adding my pecans. I poured a batter on. You can just sprinkle whatever your toppings are and then flip it. That's if you want them a little more round. If you don't care how they shape, baby, just do like I do and just pour the rest of them nuts off up in there, okay? Now, it's not going to ruin the shape completely, but sometimes the pecans do make it not as round as they could have been, which is fine because they still going to taste bomb if you follow this recipe to the T. And basically, you just keep doing this over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then, of course, you want to plate them separately if you have nuts, just in case anybody in your family has a nut allergy or just don't like nuts, because these pecans are just like little pecan bits. So you kind of can't tell the difference between the two when you're looking at it. And you'll end up thinking you got a plain pancake and then you crunch into it and be wanting to throw up because you're trying to figure out why your pancake got bones in it. Anyways, when I get down to the last little bit, I like to switch that fork out for a spoon because, like I said, this weight's not one nut up in here. I was like, I could probably get like 3 more pancakes out of there. Now, was I lying? No, I definitely got 3 more pancakes out. Now, is that third pancake gonna be the same size as all of them? Hell, I don't know, but I know we still gonna eat it, whatever size it is. And look at that steam, y'all. You can damn near smell them pancakes. If your mouth ain't watering, then your eyes ain't working. Shout out to this double burner pan. I might put my Amazon link, okay? A little shimmy for y'all. And then we just about to go ahead and get into it. Now look, now I know y'all was like, that batter was too watery. It's not gonna be fluffy. Look how fluffy it is. And let me listen. Yeah, I need you to hear it. Tenderness. You hear that? Yeah, put a little bit of maple drizzle in. Y'all already know what time it is. Time for me to tell you your mama can't cook. Exactly. And as I eat these pancakes, just know that your daddy loves this shirt. Okay? And you can get these off missnico.com. Y'all go ahead and get you one. They come in silver and gold. These pancakes so heavenly, y'all. It just made me want to sing it. I ended up calling my son downstairs. I said, Bud. He was like, yes. I said, you want some pancakes? He was like, yes. And I was like, okay, bad. I knew he already did, though. So he come running down the stairs. I said, and he was like, yes. And he came around the corner. I said, he running. Because he was running. He already know what he about to get into. And I said, hey, buddy, I'm taping, so make sure you give me a good reaction. And I said, are they good? And he said, mm-hmm. Yeah, that was all he said. I said, boy, go ahead. I gave him a little plate of pancakes, told him to go sit his big scoop ball head ass down since he don't want to cooperate. Because you making my pancakes look extra regular. But my days was man in the camera or woman in the camera all daggone morning long. So I said, you know what, girl, go ahead and get you something and keep it real with the people. Let them know.
I already knew that was going to be amazing.
Exactly.
Nothing new.
Exactly.
All right. You guys enjoy the rest.
If your big back ass kids ain't walking off with a plate full of pancakes, you ain't even doing them right. So try my recipe. Tell me what you think. Love you. Bye.